Hello and welcome to the show. Yesterday we looked at educational content, how we looked at how educational content can be part of your content matrix or your content calendar. So in yesterday's episode, and I think two episodes that came prior, we stressed the idea of why you need to come up with a plan for the kind of content you're going to be putting out if you want content marketing to be part of your increasing sales journey for 2024. And that's really relevant because we are currently in December of 2023, so the year is coming to a close. Of course, I have been stressing over each episode that we need to have realistic expectations over the kind of results that we're going to get, especially if we're going to be using long form content like podcasts, blog posts, or whatever. I've been trying to stress that content marketing is not the kind of thing you do when you want short term results. So, if you want to do something today on Monday and get results in 2 weeks' time, content marketing is not going to be able to deliver those results for you because content marketing is medium to long term. So, you're thinking months and years before you can get the returns on those kinds of activities. So, if you are one of those people who is willing and brave enough, ambitious enough to embrace the journey and willing to wait several months before we start seeing the quantitative outcomes, the moolah, the increase in your bank account for 2024, then let's go ahead on this journey. So, today we're going to be looking at ideas for educational content in your content matrix, in your content calendar, your content schedule. Because it's one thing to say create educational content, that's all well and good. But for the average person, you say, okay, educational content, check. Not entertaining content, no problem. So I want to do educational content. But then, what kind of educational content should I be posting about? Because it's a very wide if you consider your business, your area of specialty, it's a very wide world. So if you're a baker or you sell poultry, there's lots of stuff you could be educating people on about chickens or eggs or cakes. So today we are going to look at how we can come up for ideas for educational content. Now, the main thesis behind educational content is this: you want to be creating stuff that your audience should know before they purchase your product. You also want to be putting out stuff that your audience should know during or while they're using your product. And you also want to be coming up with stuff that your audience needs to know after they use your product. So if you are, let's go back to the poultry example. So for a poultry person, you need to be putting out content that people need to know before they buy a layer or a broiler or whatever. And you need to be putting out content for after people buy the layers or the broilers from you. It will be nice for content to be out there about how to maintain those chickens, how to rear them, how to get the best out of them. And then let's see. Okay, maybe chickens was not a good example. Anyway, so after putting out your content, okay, it can work. So after they buy the broilers from you, I think broilers are the ones that lay eggs. Yeah, I think broilers are the ones that lay eggs. So you also want to be putting out content for how to take care of the eggs properly, how to store them properly, how to sell the eggs, so that people can get a return on their investment. Because if you sell broilers and layers, and people are coming to do business with you, they are either buying them to eat, but let's just ignore people who are buying to eat, and let's assume that the person who is buying from you is a business person. So, okay, no, we can do both. Even for people who want to eat, they need to know how to prepare chicken, how to serve it, recipe ideas, how to store it, things like that. And then for people who are buying for business purposes, they need to know how to select the right kind of broiler or layer, how to take care of the broiler or layer when they take them home or take them to their poultry setup, and then how to get the best economic return from their investment. Because a business person who is buying broilers and layers is doing it so that they can get money to go for holidays and to pay for school fees and internet and all the good stuff. Oh, and also pay for fuel. Yeah, especially since fuel costs have increased in this part of the world. We've seen a three, sometimes fourfold increase in fuel prices depending on where you stay. So, lots of Nigerians have woken up in the unenviable position of seeing fuel costs and transportation costs all of a sudden overnight becoming the largest expense item in our budget. Anyway, but today is not about politics. So that is the main thesis for educational content. We're trying to put out stuff that people need to know before they buy from us. We're also trying to put out stuff that people need to know while they're using the product or the service that they've bought from us. And then we're also trying to be putting out stuff that people need to know after they use our product or service so that they can get the best results, whether it's physical results, because if you buy the chicken, the benefits are physical, or whether it's financial results. If you're buying the broiler so that it can lay eggs for you to sell, then that is financial, or whether it is psychological, because there are some products that the main benefit is psychological. Let's say take the phone. So the phone that we're both using right now, I have a Xiaomi 13C. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So, after a certain point, phones, especially the high-end phones, after a certain point, the capability is all the same. So, the difference of using a Xiaomi or a Samsung or an iPhone or let's see, whatever, or a Techno, the differences after a certain point become more or less psychological. So, those are the benefits that people get from our products or service. They get a physical benefit, they get a financial benefit, or they get a psychological benefit. So that's the main thesis. Produce stuff people need to know before, during, and after. And the goal for educational content is this: we want to get people to be able to discover us at different stages of the content cycle or the buying cycle or whatever it is. People should be able to discover us wherever. So for people who haven't bought the broiler or the layer yet, we want to be putting out content that people are going to find that will make them think, oh, this is interesting. I should watch some more. Maybe this guy is a pro at what he does or at what she does. So that's the point. Discoverability. We want people to be able to discover us at whatever stage that they're at while they're considering to buy. Even if they bought, but they bought for someone else, it's still a good idea for them to be able to discover us, because things like this are able to sway people to leave their current providers and to come with us, because they may have bought from Okechukwu or Nkechi, but then they see your content and they're like, okay, this guy is legit, this girl is legit, I should switch to her for future purposes, or and then you get the picture. So the goal of educational content is discoverability and to catch people at different stages of their buying cycle or the content cycle that you're putting out. Now, the goal is also to make us out to seem like we are valuable resource people, because people only want to hang out with people who are valuable to begin with. So we want to be that person that if you have a problem concerning chickens, or if you have a problem concerning, okay, like in my own case, if you have a problem concerning sales, I want to be that person that you call because you've come across my content and you've seen that this guy is legit. He knows exactly what it is that he's talking about. So if I'm having business problems that can be solved by more sales, then he's the guy to call. So it's the same thing. Now, educational content, another goal is to create enhanced credibility and enhanced trust. If you're legit and you seem like you're the guy, you seem like you're the girl, you know your stuff, you're the master of what it is that you do, then you're going to be the go-to person whenever somebody's ready. So like I said, back to the poultry example, if you're the guy or the girl who seems to know everything about chickens, then when they're ready to buy the broiler or the layer, chances are they might shoot you a DM. They may have bought the broiler or the layer from someone else, but now that they're having problems, maybe the layers are falling sick or the broilers are not laying eggs. With your enhanced credibility, you're probably the person that they're going to shoot a DM to on Instagram or on LinkedIn, because it looks like you're legit and because you know your stuff. You know, you're the girl who knows everything about chickens. Then the goal for educational content is also to remain top of mind. That is why we're going to be producing content across different usage cycles of the product, because we always want there to be a reason for people to see our stuff, whether they are in the market for it or whether they are not. Now, when we say a customer is in market, what that means is the person is actively looking for a product or service to solve the problem. So in the beginning, while the person is still discussing with their mom or with their brother or with their wife about Should we start poultry? Should we sell oranges? Should we farm yams instead? So at that stage, the person is currently not in the market. But the day that the person decides with their wife that, you know what, let's do this poultry thing. My auntie is doing a poultry. She's making a killing. Let's do a poultry. Let's start one here in Abuja. Let's start one here in Lagos. We can make it work. Now the person is in the market, and we want to be able to remain top of mind. Because if that's the point when we're trying to catch people, when they make up their mind, that is too late. But if we have been putting out content before then, and we seem like we're a trustworthy person and a valuable resource, then when the person is ready and the person says, okay, I'm ready to go ahead, there are only 2 or 3 people that they're ready to talk to because those people have remained top of mind. So a couple of years ago, back when we still had only one kid and we were thinking of getting involved in the Ankara business, it was the same thing. There was this Ankara lady. I can't remember her name, but she's in Lagos. She has distributors here in Abuja, always putting out stuff about Ankara, things like that. So when my wife and I were ready to pull the plug, to take the decision, or when we thought we were ready to take the decision and we're ready to move into the business, really, there were only 2 or 3 people we could call. And that lady was top on our list because we knew that she was in Lagos. We knew that she was putting out lots of relevant content, not just on the technical side, like how do you tell a good Ankara from a bad Ankara, but also on the business end. And we also knew that she was looking for distributors. So it only made sense that we would contact her first and then talk about some other people. So that's what we're trying to achieve. We want to be top of mind so that whenever people are in the market, whenever they're ready, then they'll give us a call. Because people are not always in the market for something. People are not always ready to buy your chickens. People are not always ready to buy your makeup. People are not always not ready to buy your camera or your phones or whatever it is that you sell. Now, when we put out educational content, oh, sorry, the alarm. Okay, yeah, so we're over 10 minutes. Okay, so let me just wrap it up. Okay, so when you put out educational content, you're also trying to get some engagement, people interacting with your content, because engagement helps to boost the content. So if you're putting stuff out on Instagram or LinkedIn, and LinkedIn and Instagram can see that people like your content, they comment, they share, then Instagram, LinkedIn, whoever is also going to promote it to more people. So it's the same whether it's Facebook or leads, sorry, not leads, what's it called? Threads by Instagram, or Twitter, now called X. So it's the same. We're trying to get some engagement. Then we're also trying to use the educational content for lead generation. Now, a lead is anybody that you could possibly talk to who is interested in your product or your service. The key thing is a lead is someone who has taken some action to show that he might be interested. So we're also trying to get some interest out of the stuff that we put out. We get people to take part in challenges, or maybe to get something valuable from us, a lead magnet, and in exchange they give us the email, they give us a physical address. Some people still do that in some businesses. You get a phone number. Oh, let me go back to that whole thing of physical address. Now, some people might wonder, physical address, security concerns, I'm not going to give out a physical address. But let's say you sell something like paint, for instance, then yes, those sorts of people, it might be reasonable that if you're talking to property developers, that a property developer might give out their office address so that you can have samples of paint sent to them. So depending on your industry, yes, collecting people's physical addresses, not a problem. So trying to get their email address, their physical address, their phone number, different things. Now, the whole idea is this. If you use educational content for lead generation, then you're going to have more avenues for future direct marketing. If I sell paint and I have the email addresses for 2,000 people in Abuja and let's say 6,000 people in Enugu, and I want to sell some paint in 2024, altogether I have 6,000 email addresses, 2,000 in Abuja, 6,000 in Enugu, or did I say 4,000? Anyway, you get the whole point. That's a list of people that I can start sending emails to. Hello, got your email address from so and so. I'm aware that you're a property developer. We're heading into 2024. My company and I doing a drive offering 10% discounts, blah, blah, blah. You send out that email. Now, it's very valuable to have those resources because you don't have to wake up and start thinking, where am I going to find people to market my goods or services to? Because you've used the educational content for lead generation, you're going to have those email addresses or physical addresses that you can go to, or phone numbers that you can pick up people and give them a call. Like, hey, Ogwefi, Ogbuefi Chris, or Madame Christina. How are you doing? You came by my stand last year at the Abuja International Building Fair. How is business? How is your property development complex going on? Oh, cool. You're working on something else. Where? In Kubwa. Okay, no problem. I would like a chance to show you the latest paints that we have now. These ones are weather resistant, mold resistant, blah, 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 blah. Would you be interested in having a look? Okay, cool. No problem. Can I come to your office next week, Monday, by 10 a.m.? Okay, you're not free 10 a.m. You're free 12. No problem. I'll be there at 12 o'clock. So see you next week. So those sorts of conversations are possible when you use your educational content for lead generation, and you can use that for future marketing. Now, since we are over 15 minutes into today's episode, I'm going to bring it to a close here. I want to stop doing 30 minutes episodes. I want to be mindful of your time. So what we're going to do in the next episode is we're going to go into a business case study, because I don't want things to be too theoretical. I want it to be really practical, and then we'll see how we'll flesh things out, coming up with educational content for a content marketing campaign if you are in the skincare business. Now, the reason why I'm using skincare should be obvious for those of you who've listened for the past 2-3 episodes, and that's because I made reference to an earlier program that I had in the year where I was talking to Abuja businesswomen, and that was part of the Moms That Brunch female business and career networking group over here in Abuja. And one of the people that I interacted with and had some interesting conversations around was a lady who was in skincare. Not just her, but her other cohorts, because there were, I think, 4 or 5 of them from skincare. There was one person who was in tech, who did business infrastructure, internet, what else? Internet security, routers, the whole lot. One person who had a spa, another person who was in not optics, what do you call them? Ophthalmologist, obstetrician, eye doctor, basically. A woman who had a series of eye clinics. What else? So lots of interesting people. So since the last person that I mentioned, and if you've been listening to the last 4 or 5 episodes, the person that you already have an affinity with so far, because you know part of the story, that's the skincare lady. We're going to use her as a practical example going forward to see how we can come up with educational content. And yeah, so that's it. Also, remember that there are other elements that can be part of the content matrix. So once we're done with educational content, we will be moving on, of course. But signpost, that's it pretty much. So next episode, we're going to be using skincare as a case study to see how we can come up with educational content. So thank you very much for your time and attention. Remember to connect with me on WhatsApp. The number is 080-6466-2140. That's also the number on Telegram, so you can hit me up there. And then also connect with me on LinkedIn. The name is Taveshima Ayede. I'm the host of the show. And don't worry about the spelling of my name, because you can confirm that from wherever you're listening to this episode right now. So just check the website where you're listening to this. The spelling of my name and the email address is there. Check the podcast where you're listening to this. The spelling of my name and the email address are there as well. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.